Hi everyone, welcome back to the Gypsy Caravan. I'm Shan. How you doing? So in today's video, just continuing with the Valentine's Day lookbook that I'm doing, we are doing an edgy graphic liner today. So first off, I'm going to prep and prime my eyes as I normally do using Paintpot and a fluffy brush. And as usual, I'm just going to prime everything from lash line up until the brow bone, except I'm not going to set my primer today. I'm just going to leave the primer on my eyes as is. Moving on, for my liner, I love using the Retro Matte liquid lipstick from MAC. This is the shade Caviar. It's just a really dark alternative for an eyeliner. Of course, you can use an eyeliner if you prefer. The lipstick is just non-transferable, which is great for graphic liners such as today's one. So that it doesn't move or transfer anywhere on the lid. So starting off, I'm just grabbing a 210 Precise eyeliner brush from MAC, and I am just plotting out the actual shape of the eye, first starting with the wing. This is just going to be my guide to where the cut crease is going to end or start, it's up to you. I'm only going to show one eye today because, man alive, this took quite a long time to actually create the graphic liner because I wasn't quite sure what sort of line I wanted to create, but it's also a mission because I needed to now not only do the one eye, I needed to balance it on the other side, and I haven't done a graphic liner like this in ages, so I'm going to try and speed through this as quickly as I can. So just creating a cut crease line or a floating liner, I'm just going to use that to kind of cut my crease. I'm doing it a little higher up so that it doesn't actually sit in the fold of my crease, because that is where transfer does occur, and even though I do have primer on and an eyeliner that doesn't transfer, my eyes are just naturally really sweaty, so the lipstick will tend to move still. So now what I'm doing is I'm just connecting the actual wing that I've created to the floating liner in the crease, or where I have cut my crease. And I'm just essentially trying to create a very rounded shape on the outer corner of my eye and leaving space on the lid. So I'm still going to fill in everything from the inner corner to the end of my lash line and then create a floating liner, but essentially the real filling in situation happens on the outer corner. So if you're looking to create the shape, just take your time and fill in slowly and just try and balance out your lines as much as you can, and then also just remember to try and keep your lines as crisp as possible so that you have a really smooth, precise, clean shape. Okay, so this is pretty much what your eyes should look like once you have balanced your liner. I'm going to pop on some mascara and just coat my top and bottom lashes, because I am going to be going in with some lashes today, so I just want to make sure that my own lashes are completely blacked out. The lashes I chose to go in with today are the number 75s from MAC. They were part of the Art Library collection. They now have a name, I don't know what the name is, but they're full dramatic lashes. And then I'm just going to go back in with that lipstick and that liner brush, and I'm just going to go over, once the glue has dried, I'm just going to go over the band to try and just hide any glue that's still showing and to hide the band. This is what creates a more realistic look in the spine of the lashes, so that it's less detectable to see where the lashes are. I do have a lash video coming up, so look out for that too. I'm now going in with some Magic Lumi primer on a 188 brush. I want to create a very dewy skin today. I almost didn't go in with foundation, but I ended up going in with a very sheer foundation. So my whole inspiration behind this is that I wanted to create a very runway looking skin, which is super glowy, super dewy, barely there makeup on the skin. I'm now going in with some concealer. This is the 24 Hour Smooth Wear Concealer from MAC. I'm in the shade NW24. Absolutely love this concealer because it's quite a full coverage concealer without it being too heavy. It doesn't crease in any of the fine lines. It absolutely sits for 24 hours without moving or any budging. Like I said, it doesn't sit in any fine lines and wrinkles. So I'm just using this on a fluffy brush to buff in and take away any redness in my skin. I'm applying it strategically underneath my eyes to just lift the bags that I have in my eyes any discoloration that I have in my eyes, and to kind of just blot out some of the pimples or breakouts that I have been having recently. The concealer does look a little light now, but these concealers do tend to oxidize slightly, so in a couple minutes this will be the exact same color as my skin. So it does look a bit stark now, but it does blend in eventually. I'm just using this to hotspot certain areas. I'm not concealing my entire face. Like I said, I did go in with some foundation. This is Face and Body in the shade C1. I do have a foundation video coming up soon about foundation, so be sure to look out for that as well. And again, just on the 188 brush, I'm taking the tiniest amount and I'm just buffing it into my skin. Essentially, I wanted to just create a more perfected version of my skin. So that's why I'm not using a lot. And like I said, I wanted to maintain that appearance of a runway, buffed out, dewy looking skin. I wanted this makeup to look as though it's sitting on natural healthy skin without having too much makeup applied to the skin. So that was the whole inspiration behind this look. So now I'm just going to spoolie out my brows and create a little bit more of a defined brow compared to what I normally do on my brows, which is super fluffy. So I'm just brushing them out, and then I'm taking Fling eyebrow pencil from MAC, and I am just kind of filling in the bottom of my brows. I don't tend to fill them in too much. I don't want them to look too blocky or too defined. I just wanted to recreate a more defined shape in comparison to what I normally do. So I'm just going to fill them in slightly and shape them a bit, and then just buff that out with the spoolie brush again, just that they're not super harsh, but just a teensy bit more filled in than usual. I'm then just going to set them with some brow gel set. This is Beguile, if I'm not mistaken. I can't actually remember what I used here. I really don't remember, but I'm setting them with a brow gel just to keep them in place. And then I'm going to go in with a Sculpt Defining Powder from MAC. This is part of a collection, so they don't do this anymore. But any shaping or contouring powder that you have, we're just going to go in with a small contour brush. This is a 109. And I'm just going to sculpt out my face. I did still want a very defined face shape. So I'm just going in and contouring underneath my cheeks. I'm going to define my jawline a bit. I'm going to take this up into the forehead just to define my hairline a bit. And then I'm also going to go across the nose just to bring in some color there, but also to define the sides of my nose as well. Like I said, even though I wanted very natural skin, I still wanted a very defined and sculpted face, because I feel like it adds and brings structure to the face. Since we have a very structured eye, a very structured brow, everything is very graphic and bold, so I wanted to just maintain that. For my highlighter today, I'm going in with a Hyperreal palette. I'm using all 3 shades, starting with the gold shade on a big brush. This is my Smash Box Buildable Cheek Brush. I'm using this just to give my skin an overall glow, and just using this as the base for the rest of my highlighters to follow. I'm just going to take this over the high points of the face just to start, which is my cheeks, my nose, Cupid's bow, a bit of my chin. I'm then switching to a smaller brush. It's a big fluffy blending brush, but it's smaller than the Smashbox one. And then using the pink and vanilla shades mixed, I'm going to use this as a more precise highlighter. So this will be my brow bone highlighter, and it will go across my cheeks, the bridge of my nose, and my Cupid's bow. But for my cheeks, I'm switching to a Real Techniques brush, setting brush, so that I have a more precise placement of the specific color combination of highlighter. This is just what's going to bring a really 3D effect to the eyes and to the face. Then swapping over to a very small shader brush, I'm just highlighting the inner corner of my eyes with just the vanilla shade. I'm then also placing a tiny bit just on the center of the lid, just so that it's not too matte and too flat in the lid, just to bring in some definition there. And then I'm just popping a nude lipstick on my lips. This is Love You Back from MAC. It's a matte lip, but it's pretty much the same color as my skin because I just wanted my eyes to be the absolute focus of the look. So that is the completed look. Thank you so much for watching today's tutorial. I hope you recreate this for yourself. It's a very fun, structured, graphic, edgy look. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Like this video if you like this video, and I'll see you in my next tutorial.